And now, coming to you from the Pensado Media Center, powered by Westlake Pro.
The fabulous Fabian, 2 Hot Academies of Learning, a brand new ITL. The MTSU students are in the house. You're at the place. It's Pensado's place.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for hanging out with us. Real quick, we've always known we had a talented audience, but lately I'm seeing how talented they are. Several people have sent me some mixes to do, and you guys really are good, so keep them coming. I enjoy doing them.
Oh, good. Well, that's a good thing. So, well, I'm happy for you, Dave.
Thank you.
It's a good thing.
When you're happy, I'm happy.
Oh, well, good.
And when I'm happy, you're happy. We're all happy.
How about we get to the next stuff?
Let's do it.
Cool. Hey, everybody, and thanks for joining us. Also, thanks to our fabulous partners. They are 1500 and Nothing, the Blackbird Academy, Westlake Pro, Avid, Groove 3, and Fab Factory. Do you want to sharpen your craft? Here's a couple of great educational options. One, the Blackbird Academy has spots, both their classes in April and July. That's April 9th and July 9th. This is the number 2 ranked school. MTSU is also ranked in that listing, by the way. But it's the number 2 ranked school in audio based on this listing, I think, from last year. It was amazing. They're also doing a very cool thing if you're a high schooler. 5-day high school camps, July 16th through 20th and August 6th through 10th. It's a chance for a high schooler to get an immersive look at working in a pro audio environment and learning about education if that is so your desire. For more info, go to theblackbirdacademy.com or contact Karma at theblackbirdacademy.com, and you can get all the info, all the pricing, all the scheduling, and the good stuff. There's another great place that you should know about, the super hot production collective 1500 and Nothing, just coming off with James Fauntleroy at Record of the Year, Song of the Year at the Grammys. They have opened up their brand new academy called the 1500 Sound Academy, based in LA, right off the 405 freeway, and it is really spectacular. We're there a lot, we know a lot about it. They've got some very informative workshops coming up, and only $50 to boot, hard to beat. On March 31st, a very special workshop, the founders of 1500 and Nothing, that's Rance Dobson, the CEO, and the president, James Fauntleroy, huge songwriter. Both of them have hits everywhere. They're gonna have a special Q&A where you can have your music evaluated, ask them questions about anything that goes on. It's from 12 to 4, March 31st. It's a little bit more pricey, but you're getting literally info from the cream of the crop. Only 30 seats available, so you want to get to their website and check that out. And then the other workshop is on April 6th. That is a workshop on publishing with Tuff Morgan from Peer Music. It's called Where My Money At, because you need to know where your money is. If you're a creator, you need to know about publishing, and there's an opportunity for you to hear from the best at an incredible facility. So, 3 workshops coming up, 2 of them in the $50 range. One is the overview with Jay Deal, the other is Where My Money At, and then a very special Q&A with Rance and James, where you can have your music evaluated, ask all the questions of hit makers. How do you find out all this information? You sign up at 1500sound.academy. I'd highly recommend you, we'd highly recommend that you go do that. A very cool place. They're gonna be doing some very exciting things. Next week, a couple cool things, a new contest from IK Multimedia, some special stuff from Native Instruments. Stay tuned for that. Dave, what is our ITL?
I call it the Mariah Carey technique. It's something I used on Touch My Body on her vocal. Check it out, I think you'll like it. I've been blessed to work with a lot of great female singers, from Beyonce to Christina, one of my favorites, and Mariah Carey. When you work on a well-known artist, you have to make a decision. Do you keep certain elements that they're known for inside the mix, or do you try and go completely different and give them a new sound? Jason and I were working on Mariah, and I wanted to get that Mick Wazowski kind of feeling of that high end that's just so pristine and so pretty. Nobody does it better than Mick. But I tried, and I want to share what I came up with, and it ended up making the record. I'm showing you with. I'm showing this example on an artist named Virginia and Chase, and they're a duo, and they write their songs, and Chase is playing all the parts and stuff. Keep an eye out for Chase and Virginia. This is going to be I think this is going to be a real good record that you're going to like. I turned to Raphael and I said, do you think we need a little more top end? And he said, yeah, I like the top end you did on Touch My Body with Jason. So check this out. Here it is without the extra top end.
Blue skies and endless night.
Pretty sweet, but now check it out with the plug, with this. I'll show you this. This is with the Mariah top end.
Blue skies and endless nights.
I'm gonna exaggerate so you can see what it's doing.
Blue skies and endless nights. Blue skies and endless nights. Blue skies and endless nights. Blue skies and endless nights.
You feel the energy pick up. We don't mess too much with the S's. The energy picks up, and there's something beautiful about a singer that pushes a lot of air through their vocal cords. Brandy's another one that just is very impressive with how much air she pushes through. Mariah, same thing. So this, what are we doing? We're high passing everything at 4.4K. So all we're hearing is 4.4K and above. Now, I'm actually de-essing that.
Blue skies and...
But the only thing to de-ess is the top end, so it actually is a type of compression that's going on. So it keeps that high end in your face. Then I come down here and I'm adding a little color and saturation. Now, this Eclipse is actually a real piece of outboard gear. It's on Richer Chorus, and it's a chorus that I've used a lot and kind of fell in love with. But try. It's not giving you that much. I think you can substitute any chorus you want and tweak it, and it'll work. The main reason you want the chorus in there is not necessarily for the sound of a chorus, but to get some movement to the top end. So if you're in front of your speakers, you got headphones on, you want that high end, you just don't want it parked right here. You want it to kind of move around your head a little bit, and it becomes less, there's less potential that it can hurt your hearing or something like that, get brittle or whatever in your hearing. And then coming on down, de-essing again, and then a little bit of EQ. So let me show you what it sounds like.
Blue skies and endless nights. Blue skies and endless nights. Blue skies and endless nights. Blue skies and endless nights.
So I want to show you a couple of things. Without the Saturn, this is what we get. Now this is just a saturation. You can substitute something else for this.
Blue skies and endless nights. Blue skies and endless nights.
All of these things are important and germane to the process, but they, but each one carries so much weight. When you take one out, you don't miss it. Like we're actually de-essing a little lower than the sibilance range, but check this out.
Blue skies and endless nights. Blue skies and endless nights. Blue skies and endless nights.
It's a technique that can be a little tedious, but if you have patience, it can be used on vocals, it can be used on pianos, acoustic pianos, it can be used on guitars, livestock. I mean, there's just so many things that you can do with this concept. And it doesn't necessarily have to be extreme top end. It can be done with mid-range. It can be done with low frequencies on basses and stuff. So don't be tied to just one way to get extra things in. It's not just parallel compression, it's not just EQ, it's not just these, but you can actually control this top end. And when I used to do it on Christina, I would actually automate the amount of that we had, and you can do that too. one of the reasons we're using a little bit of compression and stuff like that is to reduce the amount for that. But check it out. I really think you'll enjoy it and get a sense of satisfaction. All right? Let me know what you think.
From Bryson Tiller to Despicable Me 3. Now, how do you do that with a whole bunch of stuff in between?
Despicable Me 3?
Please welcome to the desk, Fabian Marasciullo.
Hey, what's going on,
brother?
man? Good to
How
see
are
you.
you?
Hey,
man?
my buddy.
It's been a minute, huh?
Yeah, it has.
And you're back.
I'm here.
He's hotter than ever.
Your career, besides being really hot, is fascinating in that somehow I think you managed to maintain looking at mixing as a science. Like sometimes it's down to the ones and twos in the digital space, which I also think speaks to where people not only work today but also listen today. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Yeah, you know, like you said, I've always approached it that way. It kind of takes the sexiness out of mixing, or the aura, if you will. You know, a lot of guys think it's their, you know, I mean, and then it is too. I mean, everybody's got their own method, but you know, some people kind of think the art is about them, but you know, to me, it's more of a technical approach to the artist's art. You know, that's always been my approach to mixing records. Yeah.
Got it. So the context is you bringing your science and skills and becoming a shaper of what the artist has given you to shape.
I always try to, you know, see what they've tried to do, and not go too far from that, but make it the best it can be, you know, knowing how speakers work, how ears work, how, you know, the science of it, you know. Yeah.
Along that line, one of the things that comes up a lot in this show that we talk about a lot is that demos become a more predominant thing in the world of where to go, lanes. Sometimes you're just extending mixing that's already started, or an idea because somebody falls. Is that fair? Tell me about the demo.
You know, it's like constantly constantly, you know, you hear well, I'm going to send you the demo with it, but do you? And then, you know, you spend a day working on it, and then it's like, ooh, all right, no, it's dope, but can you make it sound like the demo? And you're just like, well, you know, I think we use the demo. Like, what are you calling me for? But yeah, you know, it's hard because, I mean, to me, the demos are getting worse. If that makes sense. Like as it gets, the stuff I'm hearing, it's just, you know, it's more distortion. It's like, so we do chase that, and I always try to lead them the right way. You know what I mean? But ultimately, yeah, I mean, you're always chasing the demo. I mean, that's just what it is. You know, regardless of. I mean, you could fight it, and there are times when you do, but for the most part, it's like, all right, you know, we got the demo with more bass, and you can actually hear what they're saying now. You know what I mean?
Right,
but you know,
right.
There's another thing creeping into the equation. Several of my engineer friends, my mixer friends, have gotten requests to instead of turning in the mix from the console to turn it in from a laptop. They want that laptop sound.
The laptop sound, right?
What the hell is the laptop sound?
I think it's if you got a piece of paper and you just turn it this way. You know, that to me is, I don't know. I mean, yeah, because everybody's in the studio now with their laptop, 1/8 inch out on the board, you know, 120 channel, you know, J, you know what I'm saying? And then you're working on the external out of the thing, and that's what they've been hearing. So. And it's an education thing, I think, too, for from the artist to the A&R to the manager to the, and I think it's just you know, I'm not going to say flaw, but I think it's more of a what, you know, what they're looking for is, I don't think they know how to explain it, but they want. It's the same thing that we were talking about, the demo. It's like the demo is the laptop sound nowadays, you know, and it's like it's a bounce. Crunch to all heck, you know what I'm saying? And then you're trying to.
I kind of dig the laptop sound.
I mean, hey, Dave. I mean, listen. I can't believe you would, but yeah, I mean.
Yeah, you know, I mean, we're neither one of us are using a console, really. I think I remember reading about that transition from acoustic guitars, and it finally got amplified. Charlie Christian, an African American, was the first black man, or the first person really, to use an electric guitar with Benny Goodman. Man, he just caught hell. It was like just shouldn't be.
Right.
And I think things like the laptop, we'll grow to love them. You know?
I mean, we won't have a choice.
Save us a lot of money.
Well, I mean, definitely everything's. I mean, if you think about it, you know, before, you know, it would millions of dollars to build a studio. You know what I mean? Millions and millions. Now, can you get by with a laptop? Yeah. Why? I mean, people have been. You know.
Well, for mixing we can't. But.
Well, no, I mean. It's getting closer, you know, but at the same time, you know, I guess it's all figurative to, you know, to what you're looking for. You know what I mean?
Rick Ross, he's doing okay. And on Florida Boy, what a great mix.
Oh man, that was a
the
lot.
way you got that kick drum and 808 to work together, maybe you could explain that. But also too, you put a little more top end in that than you usually do. Why was that?
It's funny you say that. All right, well.
It's not funny, it's a good question.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
It's a.
Can I get an amen from the MTS crew? Wow, they're gone.
They're gone.
Damn.
They're out of there. Look, I bored them the whole everybody left.
Didn't take long for them to...
I know, they're like, I'm done with this guy. Yeah, all right. There was a reason for that, and it was one of the artists that was on it was recorded in such a way, and they sent a stem, and it was kind of like there's nothing you could do to it. After days, it wasn't hours. It was like, what could we, run it through this, let me do that, let me go crazy, let me go everything I can. So it ended up being, all right, well, we've got to go up with everything else. We got to go that direction with everything else.
The vocal stem was bright, and you had to match it.
Yeah, bright and laptop mixed, and then so they went from that to. I mean, I have a negative connotation, but it's all in good fun. But no, the point was it was recorded. So I don't want to say poorly. The sound that they were going for had nothing to do with what happened on the other end of everybody, like Payne's recording, Ross's recording, and even the beat. And so it's like, you have this thing where you want everything to be warm and heavy, but at the same time you have to have the whole song work, from top to bottom, So that's, that was the direction of that. It wasn't a choice, unfortunately,
You had no choice.
Yeah, no choice,
Right.
no option, no choice,
Right.
It's interesting, sometimes the compromises we have to make and why we have to make them. I don't think people realize that.
Yeah.
I've had to do the same thing in the opposite direction, make things sound more dark.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then you get a distorted vocal, so you put a Sans amp on it so that the whole
You just go all the way, right? Yeah. I did it was on purpose. Yeah.
Fire away. I guess you weren't prepared. That's funny. It's interesting when you say that the demos are coming and they're not as good as what they used to be. Mm-hmm. What do you think about the newer sort of audio folks coming through? Are they versed the way they need to be versed? Do they need to be? What's your take?
Yeah, I would say no, and I don't think it's. See, here's the thing. I discuss this a lot, and if anybody that follows me on Instagram knows, I have my little monthly rants, that I go off on, and it involves, like, if I get a session and it's like, what was this guy doing? This is not like, what was he thinking or she thinking, and it's like, what the heck what was going on? And I think the answer is, it's just the industry itself, the way that people are able to come up, were able to come up, like myself, we had the opportunity to be around, all these great mixers. You know what I mean? Like, all the guys that would come. I was at the Hit Factory, so it was everybody. You know what I mean? It was like anybody you could dream of was there. One day it's Ray Bardaney working on amazing stuff. Next day it's Tony Maserati. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like oh my God, you're in the middle of all this. So I had that thing, and I don't think the younger guys coming through now necessarily have that. But what they do have is the tech that we didn't have. You know what I mean? So we needed that time where they. See, we understood it took the time. That's my take on it. Mm-hmm. I understood that it took the time to get that. Mm-hmm. Where I feel like now a lot of the people are coming out of school and it's like I'm mixed by so and so. You know what I mean? And it's not making fun of anybody. It's not blasting. We all got to hustle. I mean, this is business, Right. But at the end of the day, this is not something that you could just do. It takes years and years and years, and it's like, and I think I've heard you say it a few times. It's like, man, what is that guy using this? No, that cat's just better than me. You know what I mean? And it's understanding and acknowledging that. But and a lot of people, a lot of times I'll get messages, man, I'm coming for you, man. I'm doing this. I'm doing my thing, man. We're on the same boat. We're not. We're not, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
actually say I'm coming for you.
Oh yeah, like I'm coming. They're in my DMs on Instagram, man. Oh man, I'm working. I'm doing this, and then and it's like. And I think it's just down people just understanding what mixing is, what it could be, what they could be. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And business-wise, culture-wise, Yeah,
I call it the technology trap.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes you can be loaded up with technology, and you are so removed from creativity,
right? Yeah.
That you just don't. But I find with those types of folks, it is very hard to have that conversation with them.
Sure.
Because it feels personal.
It definitely does, yeah.
And people take that, and instead of saying, oh, here's a space where I can improve.
Right.
And if I get them both to match up,
it's
then
F them. It turns
then
into
it's
that.
like, no, man, you
Yeah.
know, you're dissing me and you're this, that, and the other.
Yeah, I agree with you. But my thing has been, you know, I'm an older guy. I mean, not compared to Dave, but you know, I mean, I'm an older guy, and you know, no, but you know, I would think I've been doing this 20 years, man. This is my 20th year, you know, and it's like, I make a great living. I live a great life. I have fun. I obviously enjoy it. You know what I mean? Because I still do it. So I look to these guys, and when I'm telling, because I get that negative back, you know, well, because maybe because I'm from New York. I'm brash. I say it hard. It's kind of there's a no BS approach. That's just me. But you know, when I get back, I'm like, well, you know, don't you want to do this for more than a year? Don't you want to do this for, you know, 20 years, 30 years? Don't you want to be able to wake up in the morning and go to Paris if you want to go?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Don't you want to drive whatever car you want? Don't you want? You could do that. Like, there's such a difference in between the skill level and what you can accomplish. If you just work hard at it and you understand where you're at. That's it's reality. You know what I'm saying? That to me, it's just understand who you are, where you are, and what you can be.
Hey man, talking about that Bright song, a few years back, everything was dark, and that '90s Wu-Tang sound was amazing.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
It was.
But it seems like now the listening audience and the audience that we run into on Spotify and stuff, they don't really respond to that sound as well. How are you dealing with that when a client brings in something that's real dark? Are you hipping it up? Because you've always been a little brighter than some of the other guys, which I respect and like.
Oh, thanks, man. You know, I think we don't have a choice because, you know, the way the market, and I don't want to say market is the people that buy it. I'm talking about how it gets to them. It doesn't fit to have all that heavy bottom, all the darkness anymore. You know what I mean? So I feel like we everything on the spectrum, you know, the sonic spectrum has to go up because it's got to be louder. One, you know, so it has to have that to trick your ear into feeling like it's louder. You know what I mean? Even though it's the same volume. You know, but yeah. So I mean, the same thing. You know, what we were talking about earlier. I try to lead them to the water. You know what I mean? I try to explain, you know, they come to me for a reason because they know of these records that I've done. And then at the same time, I explain to them without telling them, you shouldn't have came to me if you want this, you know what I mean? But I try to, you know, explain to them and guide them into what they should be having, you know, or what they should be doing without imposing myself too much. You know, I always try to, I look at myself as an extension of them. It's hard sometimes, you know, because you're like, dude, what's wrong with this person? You know, like, why do they want this? But, you know, I try to always look at myself as their hands, their ears, what they tried to do. And I try to do that in a way that fits in the realm of what's going to work on a playlist next to, you know, Drake or one of these, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, they have to compete. And that's what I always, you got to compete. It's a competitive market, you know, there's only so many slots.
Gotcha. So. How do you reference? I've never asked you that before.
I have, you know, it's funny. I mix now. I built a studio and it's by myself. I was always in the big studios. And one day I just woke up and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, it's just not for me. I don't want to see a million people. I'm a weirdo. I'd rather sit in a room with no windows and then, you know, kind of just be by myself. So what I do a lot is my dog hangs out with me. He's in the studio with me all the time. So what I'll do is I'll go outside with him. I'll leave the doors open. I'll be outside playing ball with him. And then I'm listening to what's going on in the studio. It's kind of like the TV in the other room effect, if you will. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I do that a lot for my vocals, even for effects, things like that, so I can kind of hear what's going on. I don't do the car test and all that. I don't do that at all. I do, it's funny enough, it kind of relates to everything else we've been talking about. It's what these people are going to listen to it on the client. So I'll send it to my phone. I listen through the speakers on the phone. You know, it's kind of like things like that. I've got my set of speakers that I use, and I still have my little oratones that I, you know, things like that. But yeah, my method is kind of, I don't overdo it. You know, I don't over listen to it. When I'm done, I'm done.
You listen like a consumer.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And then when I look at the speaker, I know that when I see the speaker cracking, okay, cool. Just turn the bass up a little bit more, and I'm done. You know, that's pretty much it.
I'm almost there.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you tell me a couple of songs you like to reference?
Nothing that Dave Pensado mixes I really like to listen to, but no.
When you get ready, let me know. I'll get you up in the majors.
I like Since You've Been Gone.
Really?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite mixes. I listen to that for. That's more of a explosion. That's a feel thing versus a technical thing.
Yeah.
It's more of just is my hook what that hook is.
Yeah. Can you follow it on a playlist?
Exactly, that type of thing. When it comes in, there's the incitement there. I really like that song. And then, there's Buy You a Drink by T-Pain. It's a song that I mix. It's weird to say I reference a song that I mix, but I go back to that for the bottom end, the punch, because I've always chased that mix pretty much my whole career. And it's really those two, man. A lot of people have all these different set things, but I will also just go on to whatever the A-list on iTunes is, because I think that's important too, because we're competing with that. They have their playlist on, I think it's called the A-list or the hip-hop list or something like that. I have it on my recents, and I'll go and I'll pop whatever's going on in there just to kind of make sure I'm in that realm of it, Yeah.
Where in today's world does mastering sit for you?
It's so important to me. It really is. And especially, all these things are so intertwined that we're talking about. I think praise the mastering engineers in a major way, because I feel like, reverting back to the earlier conversation about the talent pool of engineers, and I feel like it comes across negative, but the talent pool of engineers, I feel like they should be really thankful for the mastering guys that get the record, because it's like they really saved your butt. You know what I mean? Like over and over. I know for me personally, and that's just a general statement of nowadays, but for me personally, it's very important for you to have a good relationship with a great mastering engineer, because they're going to teach you as you go. You know what I mean? To this day, my friend Colin, that I work with a lot, Colin Leonard, at Sing Mastering. I mean, guru.
I introduced you to Colin, didn't I?
But no, me and Colin actually went to college together. It's so funny.
He introduced me to Colin.
Yeah, but I wasn't going to say it.
Colin
But
won this year, right?
Yeah.
he's brilliant. Yeah, he's brilliant. But we have these conversations, and it's like we challenge each other. You'll and it's. I'm not saying everybody could do this. It's hard. You know what I mean? It's
Colin
hard
helps
to.
me out too.
But I think when you understand what's going, because a lot of guys don't understand. I don't truly understand what's going to the consumer at the end. So I think and there are plugins that do it, and there's things like that can give you an idea. But when you have a good relationship with a mastering guy, a genius mastering guy, they're going to help you get through your pitfalls, your downfalls. Like, this drum it sounds amazing, but it's destroying the entire song. You know what I mean? So it's not that great today. You know what I mean? So I think it's very important for you to create a rhythm with somebody.
Do you still use any outboard gear?
I do.
Like what?
I've been trying to, not telling you, but I've been trying to.
Come on, man, tell me.
It's funny. There's like 3 key pieces of gear that I haven't been able to get rid of, and I've tried. Trust me, I've tried everything, and now it turns into, let me put them in, commit it, and then work from there. You know what I mean? As opposed to running. But there's still the drummer punch gate. I still can't get rid of that thing. I think we talked about the
PUNCH?
MX40. I think is the model number.
MX40. Okay.
This guy. And then there's a Dolby EQ that I use that I just can't get rid of. And I'm not telling you the model number because I know it's cheating, but. No, and then I like Burl's converters. Like, I can't work. It's just something that it does to me. So their bomber, the B2 bombers, when I mix back into that, and it's just a separation that I've not been able to achieve without it. So those are my 3 things that I can't.
That's pretty cool.
They're
all well, except for the Burl, they're mostly obscure things too.
Yeah. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And what city has the best rap?
If we want to say right now,
no, I want you to destroy your career. I think I could use a little more hip hop.
I love all my, coast to coast. I love all my guys. I think, I think Tuscaloosa, Alabama's got the best. No, you know what? Right now, I mean, LA's running it to me. They got it going on right now for sure, man. But don't get it confused. New York is on its way back. Miami, Brooklyn is. I mean, come on. Miami's definitely got these young kids that are. When you can get it together, they got to go. When you get through the stuff as an older guy like me doesn't really understand. Once you get through that, man, these kids are really, really good. Wow. Really good. There's a lot of really good kids now. No, I'm here in LA.
Oh, you're here?
Yeah, I've been out here. I moved here a couple years now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
What's the studio?
In Sherman Oaks.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yep.
Cool.
On Oblivion, straight. What the hell did you do on those little ad libs behind the hook? Is that? Did you gate the reverb or what?
I think it was probably.
Were you listening to a lot of Mike Dean mixes?
I think it was probably a mistake at the time. I think it was honestly I was thinking about this and I was like, I think it was probably something that I had double bust or something, and then I was like, oh, it sounds really cool. But the thing when I work with T-Pain is we're family, we're friends, so we have a lot of fun. Too much fun in the studio. We have way too much fun, and things like that. And things like that happen. So it was kind of just like it was one of those nights everybody was going crazy, having a good time. Turned up, man. Going, and it was, and that happened, and it was cool though, because it was let's do because the rest of the song is very straightforward, clean, and then it was like, let's do some crazy, and that's what it was.
That's all engineer speak bullshit because he doesn't want to tell me because he's afraid I'll steal it.
Either that or I don't remember it.
It's probably
he's faking the remember shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I know you, dude. I know you.
Yeah, exactly.
After all I've done for you.
You didn't even give me one of these mugs, Dave.
Well, you have to answer some lollipop questions to get a mug.
All right.
Dude, that 808 and lollipop.
Those were the days.
Describe how you got that thing to be so loud.
You know what? I got fired 3 times mixing that record.
No shit.
Yeah,
You never told me that.
Because of the 808. So what happened was, we were in Atlanta. Well, first we started in Miami. We were at the Hit Factory, and it was on the Neve in Studio C, and it's just robust and just like insane. Like you could chase it all you want. That's what it is, And so we started there, printed stems. Wayne had to do something in Atlanta, so we all went up to Atlanta. We ended up at Tree Sound, and I opened up the session there, and I was like, and I was mixing this record. This is crazy. I was mixing the record, and I was like, oh man, I'm like kicking butt. Like I never heard anything like this before, right? And I'm in the studio, and I'm listening to the mix, and I'm dancing and having a good time, and then I happen to walk behind the board, and there's a subwoofer hooked up to the NS10s. And I said, who the hell does this? I never heard that in my life, So then I'm like, the bass wasn't there. You know what I mean? Like who in the world? I mean, I'm sure people do. I've never used it. I've never seen it. Yeah. So that was the first time. So I'm like, Jesus, turn the subwoofer off now. Like, what does the matter with you people, right? Went and sat back down. And then of course it sounded like crap because the bass wasn't there. Sure. So then let's go back in. Let's do this. Let's do that. Wayne hears it in the bus. On his prosumer stereo, there's 25,000 people in the bus, you know what I mean? Right. Calls me up, cursing me out. You're whack, how could you do this? You ruined my song, you don't get it. Because the speakers were distorting. You're fired, F you, this and that. I'm like, okay, I know Wayne since he's just a child, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, Wayne, no problem, buddy, I'm sorry, and then I call Slim and Baby and like, this is what's going on. They're like, man, just take a breath, we'll call you, right? A couple days go by. All right, Fabe, come on, we need you to come back and do it. You know what I mean? So we went in again. And it was, if you want a more technical way to do it, the best explanation was a freaking subwoofer made me push the bass too much. And then I figured out how to round it off to make it work because everybody got used to it now after that. They heard it and they went to the studio, they went here. And back then you could though. Yeah. It's changed so much in what is it, 10 years? It's been 10 years. Right.
The song's that old now.
Yeah, it's changed so much because back then it didn't have to be so loud so you could have that much bass. It's like, now we couldn't do that probably,
Also, it feels to me like here's the kick and here's the music. If the music's here, it's jazz. If it's here, it's pop. If it's here, it's hip hop.
Right.
And here's the 808.
Right.
I felt like you did this with the music.
Yeah, I did. I definitely did. Yeah. I definitely did. It was gay. It worked for the moment.
It worked great.
It definitely worked. Yeah. And also too, it was the perfect. It wasn't. There's no magic to it. There was nothing else in the song. It was 808 and one sound.
I think it's your gift at wanting to hear it that way. Yeah. Because you tend to do what you really want to do.
Yeah.
And you had the balls to leave it loud, you know?
I did. We just went from it there, yeah.
Khaled. Working with him.
He's a special guy.
Love Lies. How was it?
It's awesome, man. It was awesome. I had been wanting to work with him for a while. When I first heard him, I was like, man, this guy's brilliant. I love his tone. Like, He's an artist, you know. You watch him on stage and he's having a ball. He's dancing.
It seems like he have a ball, no matter what he does.
Has the greatest time. So the A&R, Tunji is his name, called me and was like, "Listen, I have this record. I really believe in it. I want to see what you could do with it." And I was like, "Dude, send it right now." He's like, "Oh, really?" I was like, it was like Saturday night at like midnight. And this is one of the other things of having your own studio. Like,
you can just go.
Walked in the backyard, you know, told my wife sorry. You know, she's like, "Go ahead," she don't care, you know. So I walked across the backyard in my socks and you know, mixed the record. And man, it's a lot of fun. He's very particular. He knows what he wants to hear, you know, but he's it was a lot of fun working with that kid. Yeah, and I look forward to doing more. He's awesome.
What were the vocal effects that you did in the hook on Lies?
I'm not telling you, Dave.
Dude, come on, man. I'll close
it was one of those. T-Pain was there. I don't remember. It was one of those nights. No, there's a plugin that I really like from Waves called ADT.
Yeah.
And they have a thing. It's
John Lennon.
Yeah. It's kind of that vibe. So if you use it,
what preset?
It's actually funny. It is a preset. I love classic EDT because I don't listen. You would think. Because I'm very technical, you would think I understand all these things. I don't. It's just a matter of like twisting it until it sounds good to me.
That's what we all do.
So, and especially a plugin like that, you just kind of click through a couple of, oh, that one's cool. Well, a little too much. You know what I mean? So it's called classic. Which one?
I like to use some of the rock ones on ballads and stuff.
Okay, yeah, sure, why not?
But anyway, and I hear that Naris is having a Grammy Award for the greatest clap snap sound ever, and I heard that you're like nominated.
Oh wow, that would be nice.
I love the clap snap, whatever that sound is. This on the 2 and 4.
Thank you. Yeah, you know when we first started the thing, it was one of those conversations that actually worked this time that we talked about earlier about do you. This is what it is, but do you? And I wanted to hear it heavy because it's such a smooth song. You know, his voice is so smooth and pretty. And I was like, well, how would it be cool if it was like an obscene hip hop thing that you would hear in some real grimy record. And it actually worked, and they really liked it.
And it's loud too.
Yeah, it's loud. Yeah, it's loud. Yeah, it definitely is.
As your career's evolved, it's interesting because you've been in a lot of musical centers: New York, Miami, Atlanta, here. Differences? Are you following the?
You know what?
I learn from each place.
I do. I learn about the culture. I learn about the people. I learn about the space, and I think that's represented. If you listen to my mixes, you could actually hear where I was living at the time. If that makes sense. I don't know. It sounds weird even saying that.
No,
but
I understand.
I think Herb, that's a great question. I mean, how can you not be affected by your environment?
Yeah. I wasn't necessarily chasing something. I wasn't chasing a wave. It wasn't, I happened to be part of the wave in Miami. I lucked out, because I moved from New York to Miami, and I went on a crazy run down there. So I wasn't really chasing something. It's just more of like, I really can't sit still. Like, I've been like that since I was a kid. I go visit my parents, and they're like, could you sit down? Can you sit down? Like, because I literally just walk around the house all night. I don't drink coffee. I don't do drugs. So, there's no reason for that. It's just me as just a person.
Just your energy.
So I'm just always kind of been a wanderer, you know what I mean? And my wife, thank God, is
Your wife is a saint.
Yeah, she really is a saint, man. I don't know. I don't know how I did that. I really don't know.
She's here. You can do better. Trust me.
But no, like I wake up one morning, like when we moved back to LA, I woke up in the morning, I was like, hey, we're gonna move to LA. She's like, no, we're not. Well, we had just gotten a house. We're getting all settled in Miami. Everything was good. And I was like, we're going to LA. She's like, when? I was like, I don't know. What do you think? Like, after first of the month, something like that, something like that. So, and then we just got up and left, and here we are. It's just, I don't know. It's just something with me personally. It's nothing to do with music or anything. It's just kind of, I just wake up and want to go somewhere new. But I do like to stay where there is music, obviously. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like that, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great question, though.
You have a real unique vantage point. Where do you see hip hop going right now? You see it go more towards the Atlanta thing? Will trap ever get to 90 beats a minute? What do you think?
I don't. You know what? It's hard to say because every the way music gets delivered, there's a new guy weekly.
Yeah.
And all these, and like this kid Ronnie J. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. Yeah. So cool. He's from Florida, but he's got a modern trap kind of sound to me. If it's so stupid to say that. Like, it's like, what is a modern trap? Like, what does that mean? But he's got this thing where you have the heavy duty bass, but he's sneaking in this crazy distorted thing, and then I'm sure it was by mistake.
Where is he? What camp's he part of?
He's by himself. He's just a young kid that just popped up, and he's doing his thing. He's getting a lot of placements. But I look at kids like him, and I'm like, okay, and then his management are friends of mine. So it turned into, hey man, let's work together with this kid. Let's develop something. So we work on now like, okay, I got your thing, but now let's make it, like we said earlier, let's make it fit in the playlist. Let's make it fit here. You know?
With him?
Huh?
Do you have anything online?
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff out there.
What's his name again?
Ronnie J. He just dropped
RONNY?
Yep.
J-A-E?
Just J, the letter J.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a cool
check
kid.
it
You
out.
should check him out. Yeah, he's really cool. And so
we're going to reach out to you, to management, to have him on.
let's see that. There you go. All right, look at it.
You know, another thing I was thinking about is all the hardship you've overcome being from a little town north of Tampa.
Yeah.
There's nothing north of
Nothing.
Tampa.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
That's where
Trees.
Georgia starts,
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. It's hard to go visit, you know? Yeah, it's like what do we, like, it's like 7 o'clock, what do we do, you know?
Did you ever hang out on 7th Avenue in Ybor?
No, you know what? I never went down there, man.
Oh,
I never went down.
we wouldn't let you.
Yeah, that was the thing, too. You guys are way too cool for me, man. Down there by the Columbia restaurant. Was it the Columbia?
Columbia.
Yeah, that was the spot, man.
Yeah, that was my favorite restaurant.
I did go to Burns a couple weeks ago, though, down there. Oh,
really?
my God, it was unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
So now let's see how you are with batter's box.
All right,
I
here we
imagine
go,
it's gonna
man.
be pretty good. You
The
Floridians.
Peckerwood ain't gonna win this one.
We'll
This
see.
is a
What do we got?
Floridian batter's box off. Are you ready?
Yes.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's roll it.
Bass.
Wait a minute, what are we doing?
Oh, you remember when we talked about this earlier?
when we had the whole
And
thing.
We had the
What do you
discussion
do on
about
bass?
memory.
All right.
Remember that discussion we had about memory?
This is my way of saying I don't want to tell you. No? All right, bass.
You can lie, too.
You ready?
Yeah, Brandon, I'm just kidding.
Okay, bass.
Lo-fi. Lo-fi.
Okay, good answer. Synth.
Jeez. Virtual mix rack. The green one. Jesus, I can't remember the name of it.
Revival.
It's got 2 knobs.
Revival.
Revival.
Kick.
Punchgate. I make the drummer.
Oh, that's what you use on.
Yeah.
Snare.
Drummer. MX40.
Okay. Yeah. Saturation.
Okay, that's another. There's one. It's a. Oh my goodness, I'm so bad with names. It's the black one in Slate Digital. Bomber.
Yeah.
Bomber G, I think it's called.
Yeah, but I thought that was a compressor.
No, it's more of a distortion kind of saturation type of thing.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
I have it. Piano.
I really like to use the SSL, the UAD, the SSL, the 4000.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's the same, and it's got the compression that I like for piano. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Cool. I never thought of that. Auto-tune.
I don't what's auto. I don't know. I've never even used that.
That's an answer. I might stand a chance on this one. Huh? Loops.
Jeez, there's so many. Probably the Fatso from UAD.
Delays.
H delay. Simple. Works good.
Reverbs.
There's so many, man. You're the king of reverb. I'm not even answering that question. You're gonna win that one. It's like you got 100. You know,
What would you suggest he use?
Yeah. What would you? That's a better
I
question.
suggest you watch my ITL on 4 new reverbs I've been using
Really?
lately. Yeah.
What's ITL? I'm just kidding.
That was good.
It stands for even you can learn this in a different language, of
Sure.
course. Okay, if your studio caught fire and your lovely wife was not there, your
And my dog's
your
gone,
dog
yeah.
was not there, and your computer was fireproof, what one piece of gear besides the 3 favorites, that drummer thing, can't say that,
Can't
would
say
you
that.
rescue?
There's only 3 pieces of gear in there, Dave. So I can't pick those 3, is what you're saying.
No, I make the rules.
I mean, you gotta just grab your Bryson and walk out. You know, it's the most
kind of
expensive
dog do you
piece in there. He's a bulldog. He's like he's a rescue, so we're not 100% sure.
Sure.
So he's like a half Staffy mixed with an English bulldog.
What's
he's
his
awesome.
name?
McCoy.
McCoy.
He got an Instagram.
Very cool
SoCal
name.
Gargoyle. SoCal Gargoyle. You got to go see his Instagram. He's the coolest, man. He's the coolest. He's
very
famous.
cool.
He's more famous than me.
We get to do these reunions. It's been a minute since you were on. Was it 2015 or something?
No, it's been longer than that, man.
No, way longer than
Yeah,
that.
it's been a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
And here we are.
And you guys look the same. You look great.
I know,
man.
right, man.
You got your
Got
polo.
the
polo.
polo, which is my 450th polo shirt.
I told when I walked in last time, I said, "This guy is the king of polo, the polo
Isn't
king."
it University of Miami colors?
Hey, he
Well, I
worked
did it
today.
for
See,
this.
exactly.
I'm
Little did you
trying
know I
to
lived here.
Trying to blend it all together. So.
Nice.
Between that and spackle keeps us going.
Exactly, yeah.
Man, it's fun to go back and catch up.
Sure, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
then the fact that we're still moving forward.
Yeah.
You got to do some of our panels with us.
I would love to,
Do
man.
you like doing stuff like that?
I don't, but for you guys, I'll do it.
Okay,
you know, yeah. I'm a little bit awkward. I'm like, I'll sit up there like, you know.
We can do it.
Yeah. But
anybody can do it.
Hey,
Trust me.
for you guys, absolutely would love to. Yeah, anytime.
Fabian, you know you're a favorite, and not only do we admire you, just who you are as a human, but your work is ridiculous.
Thank you, man. That means a lot, man.
Such
Thank
a pleasure.
you, my brother.
Dave, take us
Beyond
home.
amazing. Oh man! Once again, got enthralled and kind of captured by Fabian. You know what comes to mind immediately is it's hard to do this job alone, and it's impossible to do it correctly alone. And having cats and friends like Fabian in my life, I've learned so much from him. And when Maddie and Fabian and I get together, there's a spot in the world that the magnetic field alters. I'll tell you that right now. Catch us at Baroni's one day, maybe. But Fabian, thanks so much for being a friend and a buddy. When I get a little down, and we all do it from time to time, I give him a call, and he doesn't know I'm doing this, but I just need to be cheered up. And thanks for that. Grab yourself a Fabian, and we'll see you next week.